You know what I mean? But one thing about me and I would say the difference between me and the difference between Spence is I'm really my own boss now, and he's not.
Those are the words of Terence Bud Crawford as he comes at Errol Spence and dares him to tell the truth about what actually happened with this whole debacle. And as we know, news leaked from Terence Crawford that he responds basically to the naysayers. He responds to the people that were asking questions on why didn't Terence come forth and why didn't Terence do this or do that, where he already now discussed what really happened. Because I think at this point he's tired of like certain channels trying to swing bias because they are fans of a particular fighter. And I see that happen a lot. Nobody really wants to be blamed. Nobody really wants to be at fault, especially your fighter that you support, that fighter that you're on the bandwagon, so to speak. And, you know, seeing that, you're looking at it like, okay, well, listen, Errol Spence can't do anything. Just like I jumped on another channel's live and told him exactly what Terence Crawford said before hearing it. Because this isn't like it's new news. Errol Spence has a promotional company that means shit. It doesn't mean anything. Okay? Unless he has fighters of his own, but he is not his own boss. See, he can claim to be the boss of others, but he's not his own boss. So let me make that clear. So if you got guys from Man Down Promotions, yeah, Al Haymon, you might manage or promote them or whatever. You might be that stand-in guy, but you are not the stand-in guy for your own career. Terence Crawford is, as you heard him say, I'm my own boss. People gave him shit about all those years he was with Top Rank. Now he goes to a whole nother platform and dealing with guys that don't even have a guarantee, which he had a guarantee. So say what you will about Bob Arum. And then it's a trip with Terence Crawford because honestly, Terence Crawford should be the guy that that honestly, you know, should be looking at Bob as a hell of a better businessman and promoter or manager or whatever than Al Haymon ever is. Because see, Al Haymon is trying to weed or lure Terence Crawford into a fight with Errol Spence. And in return, you give him no guarantee for nothing at all. So what that is, that shrewd, shitty business practices. You know, and like, well, how can you be shrewd and how can you be shitty? Simple. You give somebody an ultimatum that they either take or they don't. In return, there's no guarantee on anything. Why would you enter any business transaction with no guarantee? Counterpunch. It doesn't make sense. Has Floyd Mayweather, Money Mayweather, you think he would do anything without a guarantee? Floyd Mayweather made a guarantee on each and every fight, regardless of how shitty that fight ever was. Even his exhibitions, regardless of how shitty or how unpleased the fans are, he's still getting a guarantee. Terence Crawford was accustomed to that because Terence Crawford was with a real promotional company. Top Rank has been proven throughout the years. Bob Arum has been proven throughout the years. Is he the best? No, I don't think so. But was he one of the best? He was one of the top. Him and Don King, if you guys remember, those guys ran together and they reigned together in competition with one another. In their practices, you know, of course, Don King's supposed to take that prize, but nonetheless, this is what they did. Al Haymon comes around and he's not even giving these guys guarantees. So if it does go belly up, those guys get whatever they were marketed to get. And it's not a guarantee for nothing. So if it doesn't even do it doesn't even hit the marker, they don't even hit a certain price point, they're not going to get anything. They're going to get fractions of what they thought they possibly could get But then that's the whole idea. I'm not giving them a guarantee. Now, I don't know what he gives them, but that's the whole thing. Terence Crawford was like, well, how are you going to give me not a guarantee, but guarantee I get money? When all the shit, the piracy, the fire sticks, the technology we have today, that saturates and takes up a lot of that potential revenue that you can get from any of these fights, and you could steal it and watch it for free. How are you going to compete with that? I mean, let's just be real. Like Errol Spence, the truth should be real. Called out by Terence Crawford, just tell everybody the truth. Tell them we had $25 million on the table a piece. Shit, I'd be happy with splitting $25 million. I would be happy splitting $25 million. Okay? But they're getting $25 million a piece. So that's $50 million. 50 mil. Now, none of those guys have done that. And see, Errol knows he's not his own boss because he didn't jump, or none of that was an interest to him. Why? Because he knew, I can't do shit without Al. I shouldn't even be talking to Terence Crawford without talking to Al Haymon first. And he knew that. That's why he never got back to him. That's why he said, what about the back end? I'm like, okay, bro, what have you made on the back end? Oh, that's right. You don't want to say anything. When Leonard Ellerby decided not to disclose certain information about certain numbers, that lets you know already, because when we know the numbers, we know what the particular, you could add that up and you could do the math yourself on if that fight made money or not. You guys really think Luis Ortiz and Charles Martin really did the numbers? Do you think Ortiz and Wilder too really did the numbers? No, they didn't. Those fights are the type of fights that should have been on Showtime Championship Boxing. But of course, if it was going to be on regular TV, they would have to give the fighters a certain guarantee, which he wasn't trying to do. So how he loops around that, he puts that shit on pay-per-view. Bars. That's what happens. And Terence Crawford, coming from a well-respected top rank, right? A bigger promotional company that's structured totally different from a no guarantee type new age bullshit that they got over there. You think that he's really going to do that? And, no, look, I want to see the fight more than anyone. But I honestly think that the Errol Spence fans don't want to see it, and they will use any scenario or any narrative to fit their agenda. Because, see, once the fight happens, it's over. But you can argue all day long and point the finger at whose fault is it. But where the fuck is Errol Spence? Just like, where was Errol Spence? Like I told live to a YouTube channel. I'm like, well, where was Errol Spence at when Terence Crawford was telling me all this, and I'm telling all my subscribers that? Where was he at? He wasn't saying anything because he couldn't. There was nothing else to say when you hear the truth spoken. Like Deontay Wilder said it best. Well, I don't have to explain nothing that's already understood. And what Errol Spence understood was Terence Crawford is telling everyone the truth, so I have nothing to add to that. But as soon as that fight was over and he found out Terence Crawford left, then he could speak, because he couldn't speak about anything business-wise. He could only speak when he knew the business negotiations fell through, obviously. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Terence Bud Crawford going off on Errol Spence, charging him up, calling his bluff. Tell the truth. Errol, the Truth Spence. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!